Corruption, corruption, now we country ain't no good Hey, hey. Corruption, corruption, now we country ain't no good Hey, hey. Corruption, ain't no good I say corruption, corruption, ain't no good Together we forfeit this menace. Now we country.
Director, Mr. Sandy. With leave of the Commissioner, I would like to welcome members of the Civil Society Consortium on Community Accountability and Service Delivery to the signing ceremony, which is intended to cement our relationship in terms of how we can partner in the fight against corruption. I'm told that the consortium is comprised of 5 institutions, namely Accountability Now, the Child Welfare Society Sierra Leone, the Health for All Coalition, the Center for Health, Democracy and Development, and the Child Advocacy Network on Climate Change and the Environment. We are pleased to have you today. It has been a long road since this request was forwarded to us, and being that we are an institution that prides the aspect of transparency and accountability more highly, we thought that before we can enter into any partnership, there should be a due diligence that should be conducted on the consortium. We have had our experiences in the past where our partnership with some organizations have led to some unsavory outcomes, which is why anytime we have the request for partnership, we will undertake a due diligence. And we are pleased to state that the due diligence assessment that was conducted did indicate that the consortium is one that is credible and one that has been in the business of advocacy for quite some time now. It is important to note that this MOU speaks on the issue of our mutual partnership. That is what we both have agreed to ensure that we will collaborate in dealing with those issues of transparency and accountability as it appertains to the issue of service delivery in the public sector. We have, as part of our procedures in the Commission, to ensure that over the period that we have agreed to partner, we will be monitoring the implementation of the MOU to ensure that both partners, that is the ACC and the consortium, are working in the spirit of the MOU. The Commissioner has expressed the need for us to continue to work with civil society, and which is why today the signing of this MOU is one big step that we have taken to cement our relationship and to ensure that we work closely with civil society. We know we cannot fight this fight alone. We need civil society to be with us, to support us through the way. And the Commissioner has said before that when you fight corruption, corruption fights back. And the only way we can be assured of sustainability in this fight is when we have civil society on our part.
Backing us up, yes.
And I think today is this opportunity we have been given to see how we can closely work together to ensure effective service delivery for the people of Sierra Leone. Once more, I wish to welcome you to this signing ceremony and to assure you that the ACC is ready to work with the consortium to ensure that we improve on service delivery in the public sector. Without much ado, ladies and gentlemen, I would now invite the National Coordinator for the Consortium, Mr. William Saulami, to make a statement.
Members of the ACC, Deputy Commissioner of the ACC, Commissioner of ACC, colleagues, civil society here present. I want to thank you very much for all of us for making it possible to be here to witness this remarkable day for civil society to be in a marriage, an official marriage, instead of a boyfriend and a girlfriend relationship, or having a formal relationship by having a certificate, by having a signed document, a proper working relationship, a serious and determined working relationship. I want to thank you very much for being here today to be part of this particular, activity or issue. We in the Civil Society Consortium on Community Accountability and Service Delivery, we are very much determined to work with the ACC. And before signing the MOU with ACC, this institution can agree with the civil society that before the signing, we have started doing some work, of which they will count on to agree in signing this MOU. The Civil Society Consortium, we are having 5 membership at national level, but very recently, we were able to incorporate 2 more civil societies, so we have a number of 7 now. And we have over 150 civil society stroke CBOs across the country, of which within 5 or 10 minutes we can just tap into our computer, we'll produce names, addresses, and telephone numbers of all of these of our membership, because they are there working on a daily basis to ensure that we fight corruption in Sierra Leone. Fighting corruption is not going to be one man's business. It's going to be a collective business. It's going to be everybody's business. And for us in this consortium, we believe that if we are able, if we come together and ensure that we minimize corruption in Sierra Leone, we'll be able to do whatever we want to do here in Sierra Leone, instead of depending on donor funds. Instead of our brothers and sisters traveling by sea, and at the end of the day, we are seeing so many disasters along the way. So we believe that corruption, fighting corruption in Sierra Leone has to be deal with everybody. And we have key line ministries that we are going to start this of our job with immediately after the signing. One has to do with the Ministry of Education, more especially focusing on the free and quality education. We are very, 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 very serious about that, because we know education is very important. We are also going to focus on the free health care. Of course, we made a lot of advocacy for the previous government to ensure that we have our review constitution so that we can have the free education in our constitution, where it will be an entrenched law that wherever government comes, they will continue with the free health care. The consortium, as I said earlier on, with this of our membership of over 150 across the country, we have been working with the former Office of the Chief of Staff at a department called PMSD, still focusing on service delivery, because we believe service delivery is very key. Accountability and service delivery is the only way for Sierra Leone. So we've been working, we've been able to set up that structure across the country. UNICEF has been able to provide the resources so that the department at PMSD has been able to train all of this of our membership over the years. But also going into this partnership with the ACC, we are also calling on ACC to provide some capacity, more especially in terms of training. We want to know exactly what ACC is doing, their mandate and all the rest of it, so we can take the information right at village level. We have structures at VDC level, We have the Village Development Committee that we are working with. We have the contact of the entire membership across the country. We have the VDC, which is the Village Development Committee. We have the CDC, the Chiefdom Development Committee, of which all of the paramount chiefs are members of that Chiefdom Development Committee. We also have another structure that is called the District Development Committee, whereby almost every month we have meeting at the councils, the various councils, bringing paramount chiefs again into that meeting, having the leadership of the councils, the various councils, to be part of the meeting. So whatever findings we collate at VDC level, at CDC level, we bring that particular discussions at district level. So we discuss on it, and then we expect the councils, who are the government on the ground, to take necessary actions. But this time around, I think we have to go beyond district. We want to take it at national level. So in this partnership, whatever findings we have, definitely will forward that also to ACC, maybe before engaging the media. Sometimes we work independently because we have our own way of doing our job as civil society. But definitely signing an MOU, most of the issues that will come up that has to do with corruption, that has to do with accountability, will ensure that we'll bring that report, we'll forward them to the ACC. We are working with, we are about to sign MOU with so many institutions, like the EPA, of which, as I said earlier on, we have membership with diverse background. In our membership, we have people working on climate change. We have organizations working on accountability issues, governance issues, women and child issues, various organizations. Some are working on health and education. So we have a rich membership that is going to be a blessing to ACC, because we are not just talking about accountability. We are not just talking about health. Various organizations working on various thematic issues coming together to work in partnership with ACC. So it's going to be a blessing. So as civil society, I believe more in work than talking. So today we are not going to talk much. We are going to sign the MOU, which is going to be our trump card to do whatever we are doing, to have a very strong marriage relationship. So at the end of the day, if somebody wants to break this marriage, we'll get to the court, because it's a legal marriage. So it's a legal marriage. But we hope and pray that we don't get to that extent, because we believe we are fighting the same cause. So with that, I also want to end my statement with His Excellency the President's commitment. If you look at his manifesto during campaigning, in the SLPP manifesto, as I'm speaking to you, I have manifesto for all political parties. But as an activist, we are now focusing on the SLPP manifesto. What was in that manifesto? A lot of the issues that people decided to vote for President Bio has to do with accountability and transparency. So we'll continue to look at that particular clause in the SLPP manifesto. We'll continue to call on them that you said, if you win this election, you will ensure that you take accountability and service delivery issue as a paramount issue in your governance. Now that you are in that seat, civil society will continue to engage this government to ensure that what is written in that manifesto is actually manifested to the people of Sierra Leone. So we are committed, and we are going to work for this country, not only for ACC, not only for me as an individual, but whatever we are doing, we put Sierra Leone first. And that has been lacking over the years. And that is why we are here together as a partner to ensure that we place Sierra Leone first. Forget about our regions, our tribes, our political parties. When we have, if there is free education, they don't have to check whether you are a Lima or a Timini man or a Mende man. All of us will benefit. When the free healthcare was here, some of us, we are all over the place to ensure that we sensitize the public about the free healthcare. So it's not just about one particular tribe or region or political party. So we are here working as a team, putting Sierra Leone first. So I want to thank you very much. There will be a forum where we can talk and talk and talk. But for now, for the next 1 or 2 months, it's about action, action, action. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I am very happy that we are here today to cement a new era in collaboration on the fight against corruption. You see, the war against corruption was declared by the president. We are soldiers in that fight. But when you engage in a fight like corruption, you need allies. You need alliances with institutions, people who are powerful enough to back you up when there is need for one. In the fight against corruption, there can be no better ally than civil society. So we at the Commission are particularly very happy that civil society is interested in helping us in this fight, and we have agreed to come together to sign an MOU to cement this. It is also in line with our agenda as the Commission, as part of our repositioning, to make the Anti-Corruption Commission a true People's Commission, where our work will take the people along. And in taking the people along, the best people who represent the people themselves are civil society. We are happy to join you in this. We will collaborate with you. We will give you everything that is needed to help us in this fight, because you don't even know how much this is important to us. The ACC is limited in personnel, is limited in resources. Public Education Department is limited in personnel. What we are doing here today is more than just signing a pact. It is an extension of the staffing of the ACC to include the hundreds of men and women working in civil society as public education officers, as investigators, as people who take the message along, as people who bring feedback to us, as people who join us in what we do. We are going to give you the support you need. We are going to work with you. We are going to make sure that the synergy that is going to be created is known to the people of Sierra Leone. We are going to ensure that us and the Civil Society Consortium, standing side by side, are going to make the Anti-Corruption Commission a true People's Commission. So without much ado, this is a great event. We thank all of you for coming here today. We extend our thanks and appreciation to the many hardworking men and women in civil society who have made it a mission to make sure that Sierra Leone is governed better. Corruption is a dangerous thing. It attacks the very foundations of democratic governance. It makes the individual more important than the collective. And when the individual is more important than the collective suffers, and without the collective, there is no state. We have to understand these things. That is why coming together like this is very important, and let us take the fight more seriously than we have ever. Let those who have pessimism that the fight against corruption control is impossible, let us prove to them that it's absolutely possible. So without much ado, let's get down to the signing. I thank you.
Memorandum of Understanding between the Anti-Corruption Commission and the Civil Society Consortium on Community Accountability and Service Delivery, dated 11th September 2018. As both parties have affirmed commitment and as such underscored the need for joint intervention in the area of mutual interest, and have agreed to adhere to the collaborative partnership rules herein stated. Both parties have consented to willingly: 1. Provide regular and timely feedback on project activities, including the provision of regular progress reports, monitoring and evaluation reports, as well as other reports during the implementation of joint project activities. Provide periodic information on the event beyond the remit of the project itself, but which is expected to impact project outcomes. To ensure transparent and open practices in the implementation of joint project activities. To support and assist each other in the realization of their respective mandates. to collaborate in mainstreaming the tenets of transparency, integrity, accountability, and effective service delivery by encouraging visible and active participation in different worthwhile initiatives that might not have been specifically referred to in this MOU. Exchange of information and ethical consideration. In a climate of trust, both parties have agreed to adopt a number of safeguards, including the principles of privacy, confidentiality, and consent. In view of this, both parties have considered it necessary to safeguard confidentiality during the exchange of key information that may hinder their respective mandates. Agreed that any documentation of whatever nature or situation or issues relating to the confidential nature which is acquired or may be acquired should be treated as a matter of privacy. Agreed that during the implementation of joint activities should only be disseminated based on mutual consent. In witness whereof, the duly empowered representatives of the Anti-Corruption Commission of Sierra Leone, ACC, and the Civil Society Consortium on Community Accountability and Service Delivery here to affix their respective signatures.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The Commissioner will sign.
I want to say this clearly, that we have to draw the line on corruption in this country. We have to fight corruption, and it is a fight that we must win, and it is a fight that we must fight together.
Corruption, corruption, now we country, oh, ain't no good, oh. Hey, hey. Corruption, corruption, now we country, oh, ain't no good, oh. Hey, hey. Corruption, ain't no good, oh. I say corruption, corruption, ain't no good, oh. Together we forfeit this menace, now we country, eh. Yes, we will work hard for this disease, now we country, eh.
Corruption is not just a governance issue.
It's a great day, isn't it?
Corruption is a national security issue.
And now,
Corruption,
sign of
corruption,
completion of this
now we
process,
country, oh.
I hereby
Ain't no
hand
good,
over
oh.
2 copies
Hey,
and 2 copies of
hey.
this MOU.
Corruption, corruption, now we country, oh. Ain't no good, oh. Hey, hey.
The fight against corruption is not a one-man fight. We thank the government of Sierra Leone, our international partners, and you, the people of Sierra Leone, for your unflinching support.
We fumble them. The Anti-Corruption Commission, the one not for mix pandabaru business. This fet, now we all fet. Wanna remember the 3 R's: resist, reject, and report. If you see something, say something, and the commission go do something.
The fight against corruption is a serious one. Our country has suffered since independence to date. Our rankings in various international indices are not favorable when it comes to the areas that matter most. Corruption is one of the most embarrassing of them all. Today, I have been given this opportunity to see how best I can join the consensus effort of the government and people of Sierra Leone to change that story.
Corruption, corruption, now we country, oh. Ain't no good, oh. Hey, hey. Corruption, corruption,